Everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I've got a few new subscribers. My name is Abby, and I do a lot of makeup videos, some other stuff, so stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. But today I'm going to be doing a Get Ready With Me. You can close see I don't have any makeup on. So I'm going to be doing my makeup and then talking about some issues within the makeup community, some stuff that I've been doing recently, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So starting with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. If you are new here, I have a horrible eyesight, as you can see. I took my glasses off, so hopefully I'm in frame and in focus the whole time. If not, bear with me. One of these days I'll get LASIK, but not anytime soon because it costs a lot of money. And I'm also kind of a hypochondriac, but also like scared of medical procedures, especially involving my eyes. So yeah, that might be a long time coming. And I cannot wear contacts. I've tried for years and years. Probably, how am I, 25? I've been trying contacts for about 15 years and they don't work, so I gave up. I'm going to use the Pacifica A Light foundation. I have two shades that I mix. Yesterday I started to film this and my battery died, so I used way too much foundation, so I'm going to try to not do that today. So normally I've just recently started actually a project pan, so I've been doing Shop My Stash videos to go with that, and throughout the week, on days that I don't film, I use my Shop My Stash items, but on days that I film, if I do Get Ready With Me, or even if I don't do a Get Ready With Me, and I just threw this sponge on the floor, but even if I don't do a Get Ready With Me, I will use whatever I want, so that's what I'm doing today. This foundation has more of a satin finish, and so like even if you set it with powder, it still kind of has a shine that looks a little bit tacky, or it feels tacky on your skin. And I used to, like when I first started doing makeup, I thought that like foundation had to be matte or it didn't work. So I would have thought that this was like the worst foundation when I was younger, but that's how it's supposed to be, and it looks more natural than cakey matte. But which I still like sometimes if you need it to last a long time. And then I'm going to use the Pacifica Liquid Cover Concealer. This is the lightest shade of it, and it is almost too dark. Can you see? I kind of don't understand why. This is the lightest shade, and I mix the lightest and the next lightest, I think. Well, no, the lightest and then like the third or fourth, I think, because I picked the wrong one, but the foundation and the concealer is not as light as the lightest shade of foundation, so I don't understand. But so speaking of like current stuff in the makeup world, I'm sure you've noticed that a lot of people are kind of moving towards more black-owned brands, which I think is amazing. Mostly because like normal conventional makeup brands, like the big ones, have, they should cater to people with all skin tones, and powder. I'm using the Cover FX translucent powder. I have one from e.l.f., but it takes forever to get out of the little thing, so I just use this one. But they should cater to all skin tones, but that's too much to ask sometimes, and I think that, and then the people are like starting to hold them accountable for that even more so than before. I know like a couple years ago that Tarte was in that scandal where they had like 30 shades of white and then like maybe 2 brown shades, so I still have never bought from Tarte since then, even though they are cruelty-free and have a lot of vegan options. It's also something else, if you are new, I only use vegan and cruelty-free makeup, skincare, hair care, household stuff, and I use the website logicalharmony.net for finding information about that. She has a whole list of brands. Trust her website over others like PETA, especially. PETA is, don't trust PETA for anything, but she personally like talks to the brands and gets information about their ingredient suppliers, manufacturers, all that stuff, to determine if a brand's cruelty-free, so I trust her process more than others, so that's why I use her list. I'm taking the e.l.f. sheer tint finishing powder. I'm pretty sure this is from the Beautifully Bare line. I just used one of these up, and I had a backup, but the only other powder I have like this is from a brand that I'm trying to use up that's not cruelty-free anymore. So that's something else that I gotta think about, is like making sure that the brands that I'm using are staying cruelty-free, because unfortunately Wet n Wild and Physicians Formula are no longer cruelty-free as of like a year ago. So, but anyways, back to the, what was I saying about the foundation? Oh yeah, so brands now are trying to be, you know, people are holding them accountable, and then also there's that pull up for change movement where people are calling out brands and to see how much representation, how much diversity is on their like executive teams and at their stores and all that. And a lot of them have like, from the numbers, they have like maybe one black person working there, which is not acceptable. Well, if any. Some brands have 0 black people or even people of color, which is like, you have to purposefully avoid hiring people of color, because that's just, especially if it's a larger company. Like, I'm probably taking out of context what I just said. If you don't have any black, indigenous people of color at your organization, it's almost like you are purposefully avoiding hiring them. Does that make sense? Because they're out there, they're applying for these jobs, they are equally, sometimes if not more qualified than white people. But, you know. I'm going to take this, again from e.l.f., this Total Face Palette. I'm pretty sure this is the Beautiful Bare also. I'm going to take this bronzer shade. I don't have very many bronzers. There's one that I'm using up from Physicians Formula, but it's hard to find a bronzer that works for me that's not like orange. So I have been, and like in this and other videos, I'm going to try to avoid brands that are like problematic or racist or you know, aren't inclusive. I can't think of that word. Are inclusive of people that aren't white, basically. So, which e.l.f. has come a long way with that, with their new, like some of their foundations and their new concealers that are out. They're definitely more inclusive than they were. Like when I first started wearing makeup, e.l.f. didn't even have a shade for me. Like they just had a couple of light to medium shades, and that was about it. And also I'm paying attention to the brands that don't, or that haven't posted photos with black people of color, or black or people, you know, interchangeably black or not. I'm the worst, but like, you know what I mean? People with deeper skin tones, if they haven't been posting them until now, come on. Then I'm going to take this blush from the palette. I think this says Hard Pan because I tried to use it yesterday and it didn't really do anything. Yeah, I'm going to find a different one. Okay, this is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Cheeky. Yeah, that one works. But I was already doing the 20 and 20 project pan where I'm going to use up or hit pan on 20 makeup items by the end of 2020. But I've started following some more people that do project pan on Instagram, and then somebody started a one that's called Project Penciled. I'm going to use this highlighter from Root. It's called the Rose Glow Illuminator. And Project Penciled, so it's kind of like Project Pan and Canceled, so Project Penciled. But the point of that is to really look at your collection and see what you have, and then make sure that, you know, like I cannot brain today. Look at your collection, see what makeup brands you have and use a lot, and see what they are doing as far as like making change. So like if you have a lot of a certain brand, look at them, see, you know, if they have even posted about Black Lives Matter, or if they are inclusive in their shade ranges, that kind of thing. This one is really, really pink. I think I meant to buy their white gold illuminator, so I'm going to put another one over top of this. The e.l.f. Baked highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. I can never remember the name of this one. And I think I did a pretty good job of getting rid of those kinds of brands about I don't want to say a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, but I had a lot of stuff from like Jeffree Star, KVD, yeah. So I got rid of a bunch of that. So mainly the only two brands that I have, well, maybe there's more, but ones that I've noticed that are not good is Anastasia, who else was it? ColourPop, and Ofra. Which if I was to look at those brands myself, not taking into account anybody else, I would be fine with them. However, I think it's important, especially if you're white, to listen to black people and see who they're comfortable with, and if they think that they're not being represented with the brand, then you should take that as a clue that maybe they're not, and it's not all about us. Use a NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. So that's kind of why people have been trying to find new black-owned brands to use and support, because obviously they're going to be inclusive, they're going to be representative of black people because that's who their products are for. But a lot of them will work for lighter skinned people too. Like I ordered some stuff from Colored Rain. They make eyeshadows mainly, that's what they're known for, and I ordered their Vivid Brights palette, Vivid Pigment palette, something like that, and then they're also known for that giant magnetic palette that holds like 96 eyeshadows, and so I ordered one of those and the Vivid Pigment palette, and I got a refund for the amount of the Vivid Pigment palette, so I'm thinking that I'm not gonna get it, which stinks, like they oversold it or something. But while I was filming or trying to film this yesterday, the Eye of Horus Dynasty Brow Define was totally used up, so I broke it open. And this one, sometimes they would just pop apart, but this one I actually broke, like it wouldn't pop apart, so there's a little bit left in here. Like this is what was left after it was like down to the nub. I couldn't twist it up anymore. So I'm gonna try to use this today, hopefully. I mean, it might like just break off of this. I do have my brows and my glasses on, so I can actually see like from far away if they're even. It's very, very, very gently. It's taking a lot longer. So with that project penciled, I think I'm going to try to pan some ColourPop stuff. ColourPop though, it's like the problem with them is they have products to suit darker skin tones, but not all of them. But also they have been known to discontinue like darker highlighters, darker bronzers, that kind of thing. And also they had a history of not posting black people or people of color until very, very recently, which is annoying. So that's why. And also that when they did that pull up for change thing, there's like not even 5%, I think, of their employees are black. So and then Neon MUA and Killer King started that ColourPop Me Black, because ColourPop's hashtag is ColourPop Me, so they started ColourPop Me Black, and they like totally did not acknowledge them until they came out with this post the other day that was like it's like a collage photo of a bunch of black influencers, and Neon MUA and Killer King were not on that. And then people like started freaking out, tagging them everywhere, saying why did you not include them, and then they finally reposted their looks. I was like, okay. So that's why other people have a problem with ColourPop. I mean, obviously everything is up to your discretion, but if other people are having a problem with it and they're saying that they're not feeling represented by this brand, then I don't feel comfortable buying from them, at least until, if they make a change or start doing better. I think I'm just not going to buy any makeup that's not from a black-owned brand for a little while. And speaking of ColourPop, I've got to use their brow gel because that's the only one that I have that's not tinted. I have the tinted one from e.l.f. I need to find a clear one that's not from ColourPop. because this pencil is kind of harsh. Like it's a little too dark. So if I just brush this through, it lightens it up a little. Of course, the only, well, I do have a primer, an eye primer from e.l.f. It's the, was it the Putty eye primer? But I've heard a lot of people saying that they got this recently and it was dried out, and mine is kind of dried out too, and they just clearanced these. So because if you have a little cream product, you can see if it starts to dry out, it kind of like separates from the sides. So I'm thinking that's the problem with this, because I was having a real hard time. I used this in my last Get Ready With Me with the J Kiss palette, and it just was not working. So I might be getting rid of this. I don't know. I'll try it off camera and then see if it's, you know, still going to be good. But the only eye primer that I have besides that is the Anastasia one. So I think you should make do with what you have and try to use up stuff. That's kind of the point of the Project Pencil thing. Because if you're like me and constantly like canceling brands, especially like being cruelty-free and stuff, it's kind of exhausting to have to like throw everything away and buy new, and it is wasteful, obviously. I'm probably not going to be doing that anymore. Like I did that huge declutter, got rid of all of my, that was basically like 75% of my lipstick collection was Jeffree Star and KVD. Which, I mean, now I think I would be okay with KVD. I'm not sure. I haven't, I mean, aside from the representation thing, they did carry like darker skin stuff, but I also found that people that I follow that were black never used their stuff. So I don't know if it was because it was Kat Von D or because they just weren't interested in the aesthetic of the brand. But they did, their collection products had a lot of shades. I remember their Lock-It foundation had like a ton. It was probably the most that Sephora had for a while. So I used this palette yesterday, and I think I'm going to use it again. It's the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. I've had this for a while ago when it first came out, and there's this warm tone side and the cool tone side. And I think I'm going to use the cool tone side again, because I've only used that side maybe once or twice before. So I'm going to take the shade called Witty right there and put that in the crease area. But like I was saying about KVD, I mean, like, as far as, you know, I appreciate that they kicked out Kat Von D and, you know, paid her off or whatever, is fine, but I feel like a lot of their products I don't really care about. I mean, maybe they're liquid lipsticks, but I have found others recently that I've liked better. So, I don't know. I probably wouldn't. I'm not opposed to buying from them again, but I probably won't. But what brought this all up, so I did for today's video, I had researched and written out like information about 20 makeup brands that are 100% vegan and cruelty-free, because not all makeup brands that are cruelty-free are vegan. So I found 20 that are Logical Harmony approved, cruelty-free, and then they had all the products are vegan. And I found 20 of them, which there are more, but those are ones that I liked or had heard about. So I kind of had knowledge about the brand, and like at least 5 of them now are canceled. So I just quit. It actually blended out pretty well. It's kind of like a grungy taupey gray. Then I'm going to take the shade next to that called Smooth. Am I recording? Yes. I'm going to go kind of in the outer part and then like up into the deeper part of the crease a little bit. So this is what I mean. I hope you can see what I'm doing right now, because I don't know if you can. This is like as far as I can be from this mirror and still kind of see. But so in my personal life, so I own a business called Cruelty-Free Stitchery. I do literally everything. Like it's just me doing the business, and I have a craft show 2 days. Today's Thursday and it's on Saturday. So it's my first one of the year, finally. I had a couple planned out, like from April and May, and now it's June, and they had been canceled up till this point for obvious reasons. But this one is, they kind of snuck it in with the farmer's market, which is allowed to be open, so, which retail is allowed to be open here too, but not large gatherings like a craft show. Wow, that blended out pretty well, except for they're not even. Like this one's kind of... I'm not intimidated by bright colored eyeshadow, but I am intimidated by like grays and those kind of shades because it looked like I have a bruise. But so today I am, right after this, I'm going to my dad's house because he was making me some displays. Because my last setup, this is going to be my second ever craft show, like in person. I sell primarily on Etsy and my Shopify website. But my last setup was thrown together because I didn't really know what I was doing and it was not cute. So I'm trying to get better, and he built me some displays out of wood. So there's this dark green on the bottom here called Wise. I kind of want to put that on the lower lash line, but I also think that might add to the bruise effect slightly. So I think I'm just going to take that same shade that I just used, Smooth, into the lower lash line with that. Then after that I need to go to Target and get some last minute stuff. And also some groceries, because I have been ordering from ClickList at Kroger, so it's like you just order on their app and then you go pick it up, like they put it in your car and everything. So I've been doing that because I'm a hypochondriac and not want to get sick. So I've only been out in public. I mean, aside from going to the post office, but literally I just run in there for less than 10 seconds, throw the stuff in the bin, and get out. But I've been in public, see, I went to 2 or 3 times since March. Alright, now for a lid shade. I think I'm going to take a little bit of this shade called Chill. It's this purple shimmer right here. And then put that on the outer part of my lid, and every time I hold the palette up like that, I get it all over my finger. I'm just going to put them on the outer half. And for the inner half, I'm going to take this shade called Clever, which is this one. Yeah, one of those times I went out, so my fiance Tint is in basic training for the Army, and he has allergies or something that make him cough a lot, or like have an itchy throat, and if you're in basic training, you can't just like have that kind of stuff, like cough drops and stuff on you. He would have to go to sick call, which is not fun. So we were allowed to send him cough drops, so I had to go into Walgreens, and because it wasn't around the time, like I sent some again, and it was around the time that I was getting a ClickList order, so I just ordered some with that, but I had to go into Walgreens and buy cough drops, and oh my god, like, that I've never felt more, like, judged in my life. Like, people made sure to stay the 6 feet away. Which is nice. Like, can that be a rule all the time? For people to stay 6 feet away from you? And then I'm going to take this shade called Low Key. It's this whitish, it's kind of a duochrome. And put that in the inner corner. And I have a little dip going in that. I think that's the look. So I'm going to put on mascara. I'm going to put that. I need to do lash curler because this one, I've had this for a while and it is not the right shape for my eyes, so it doesn't work the best. Actually, I think I have one somewhere. It doesn't bother me that much to where I want to do something about it. The story of my life though. Like if something is okay and works okay, and I know I could probably find something better, but it doesn't aggravate me enough that I want to change it, then it just stays the same. I'm going to use this NYX On The Rise mascara. This is not like my absolute favorite, the best mascara in the world, but it's also not the worst. Like it's okay. I do have to, with a lot of mascaras I find I have to scrape the excess product off of it. because it gets too clumpy, and if you get like too much mascara on, then it just kind of doesn't want to curl. Alright, so there is the finished eye look. Still not convinced that it doesn't look like I'm been punched in both eyes, but it's fine. You can't really tell. That's the thing about like wearing glasses, you can't really tell when they're on. Now I need a lipstick. Probably I should go with something cool tone, which I don't have that much of because I'm definitely a mauve kind of person. I do have some grays. Yeah, I think I'll go with this again. So yesterday I used the Lime Crime Cashmere, and I think I'll just go with that again. Lime Crime is one of those that were really iffy, but I think they have improved personally, especially since, you know, they're not their old CEO that was problematic to say the least is gone and out of the picture, and they have from what I saw, they had a really solid action plan to improve their diversity and like representation, which I wouldn't buy from them anymore right now, but maybe in the future when they like improve on that. So I think they're still okay, at least in my opinion. I know some people may disagree, but so that's the look for today. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions for topics for other Get With Me's. I am going to be doing these, I think, at least monthly, if not more, especially with my Shop My Stash stuff. So once I pick next month, like for July's Shop My Stash, I will do a Get With Me using all the stuff that's in there. And I'll be doing updates for the 20 by 20 and 2020 project pan on here. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing the project penciled on Instagram, so make sure you go follow me there. It's at AskLand. I'm also at AskLand on Twitter. Project Penciled starts on July 1st, so check the hashtag. It's hashtag Project Penciled. I put it up here, but that was started by Panda Replay on Instagram, so go check her out as well, and kind of check out that post for like the rules or whatever. So it's going to be 4 products kind of on a rolling basis. So if you use up one, then you can switch another one into it, and it'll last from June, I'm looking at the thing, July 1st through January 1st. So check that out if you're interested, and give this video a thumbs up if that was interesting, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.